The signal came from nowhere. Deep in the galaxy's outer rim, a distress beacon suddenly appeared on every major communication network. The message was simple but strange. "This is Earth calling. We need help. Our world is dying from natural disasters. Please respond if anyone can hear this." The Galactic Council of Deathworld survivors received the message at their headquarters on Station Omega. 6 alien species sat around a massive table made of black crystal. They had built this council after centuries of struggling to survive on the galaxy's most dangerous planets. Only the strongest species had earned seats at this table. Tekmor of the Corvesh people studied the data with his metallic fingers. His people came from a world where radiation levels could kill most beings in minutes. Their skin had evolved into living metal to protect them. "This signal is interesting," he said in his grinding voice. "The coordinates point to a system we have never explored." Zekthara of the Hivetar leaned forward. Her insect-like body clicked as she moved. The Hivetar came from a world where every living thing was a parasite. They had learned to live by becoming the ultimate parasites themselves. "We should ignore it," she buzzed. "Unknown species often bring disease and death." But Veltara of the Kaltar disagreed. Her blue skin glistened with moisture from the breathing apparatus around her gills. The Kaltar lived on ocean worlds where creatures the size of mountains hunted in the depths. "The message mentions natural disasters," she gurgled. "Perhaps they face the same struggles we do." The other council members listened carefully. Naxavoid of the Nethrim floated in his containment suit filled with toxic gas. His people breathed poison and lived in clouds of acid. Stormjack of the Zilani sparked with electricity. The Zilani came from a world of endless hurricanes and lightning storms. Finally, Pyrothane of the Vorthak radiated heat. The Vorthak lived on worlds where the ground was always melting. "Send a probe," suggested Stormjack, electricity dancing across his crystalline body. "We need more information before we act." The probe reached Earth's system 3 days later. What it found shocked the council members. The planet registered as a Class 12 death world. This was beyond their highest classification. Their own worlds were only Class 8 or 9 at most. "This cannot be correct," whispered Nexvoid, his gas swirling faster in his suit. "Class 12 means the planet should be completely uninhabitable." But the probe's data was clear. Earth had crushing gravity that would flatten most alien species. The atmosphere contained oxygen, which was highly poisonous to most galactic life. Massive storms regularly destroyed huge areas. The planet's surface shifted constantly from earthquakes. Temperature changes could freeze or cook unprepared visitors. Deadly radiation poured down from the local star. "How do they survive?" asked Pyrothane, his rocky body glowing brighter with excitement. The probe detected billions of life signs across the planet. Not only were the beings alive, but they seemed to be thriving. Cities covered the land masses. Strange metal objects flew through the atmosphere. Signals showed advanced technology and complex communication networks. "Impossible," Zekthara clicked. "No species could live on a Class 12 world, let alone build a civilization." Takemore stood up slowly. His metal body reflected the lights of the station. "Perhaps we have found something unprecedented. A species that not only survived the ultimate death world but mastered it." The council debated for hours. Some members wanted to stay away from such dangerous beings. Others were curious about how any species could survive such conditions. Finally, they reached a decision. "We will invite them to our summit," declared Veltara. "If they can survive a Class 12 world, they have earned the right to join our council." The message they sent was formal but welcoming. "Greetings, survivors of the impossible. You have proven yourselves worthy of joining the galaxy's most resilient beings. We are the Deathworld Council, representatives of species who have conquered the most hostile environments known to exist. Your world registers as beyond our most extreme classifications. We invite you to meet with us at Station Omega, where we gather to share knowledge of survival and strength. You have earned your place among us." On Earth, the message reached the Global Space Command within hours. Scientists and politicians gathered in emergency meetings around the world. First contact with alien life was finally happening. Ambassador Sarah Chen stood before the emergency assembly of world leaders. She was tall and confident, with black hair and steady brown eyes. Years of diplomatic training had prepared her for difficult negotiations, but nothing had prepared her for this. "The aliens seem friendly," she reported. "They're inviting us to some kind of meeting. They think we're survivors like them." Dr. Marcus Webb, Earth's leading xenobiologist, studied the data from the alien probe. He was a thin man with gray hair and thick glasses. Their technology is clearly advanced, he said. But something seems strange about their message. They keep talking about survival in hostile worlds. Captain Elena Vasquez commanded Earth's Space Defense Forces. She was a strong woman with short red hair and sharp green eyes. Military training had taught her to expect the unexpected. We need to be careful, she warned. We don't know their real intentions. Jake Morrison, Earth's top space engineer, was already excited about the alien technology. He was young and eager, with messy brown hair and bright blue eyes. Look at these energy readings, he said. Their ships use power sources we can barely understand. The world leaders debated for days. Some wanted to send a military fleet. Others preferred a scientific expedition. Finally, they chose a small diplomatic mission. Ambassador Chen would lead the team aboard the research vessel Endurance. Dr. Webb would handle scientific matters. Captain Vasquez would provide security advice. Engineer Morrison would study alien technology and keep their ship running. As the Endurance left Earth's orbit, the four humans had no idea they were about to change how the galaxy thought about survival, strength, and what it meant to be truly powerful. The journey to Station Omega took 2 weeks. During the trip, the team studied everything they could about the aliens who had contacted them. Each alien species seemed to come from worlds that humans would consider uninhabitable. They live on worlds where the temperature melts metal, Dr. Webb noted, or where the air is pure poison, or where gravity would crush our bones. And they think Earth is like that too, added Morrison. They called us survivors of the impossible. Captain Vasquez frowned as she studied tactical reports. Maybe they're testing us somehow, seeing if we're as tough as they are. Ambassador Chen looked out at the stars streaming past. Or maybe they really do think Earth is a dangerous place. We'll find out soon enough. None of them realized that in just a few days they would discover that what humans considered a normal, pleasant world was actually the most dangerous planet the galaxy had ever known, and that humanity's casual attitude toward their safe home would shock alien civilizations who had spent thousands of years just trying to survive on worlds far less hostile than Earth. The stage was set for a meeting that would change everything. Station Omega looked like a massive crystal floating in space. The humans aboard the Endurance stared in wonder as they approached the docking bay. The station was beautiful but strange, built from materials that seemed to shift and change color in the starlight. "Welcome to Station Omega," came a voice over their communications. The words were translated by their computer, but the original sounds were unlike anything they had heard before. Ambassador Chen straightened her formal diplomatic uniform. "This is Ambassador Chen of Earth. Thank you for the invitation." "Dock in Bay 7, the voice replied. "The Council awaits your arrival." As the Endurance settled into the docking bay, the humans could see alien workers moving around their ship. Some looked like walking crystals. Others seemed to be made of living metal. A few floated in suits filled with colored gas. "Stay calm," whispered Captain Vasquez. "Remember, they invited us here. They want to meet us." The docking bay filled with breathable air, and the humans stepped out of their ship. Immediately, several aliens approached them. The beings were larger than humans and moved in strange ways. Thekmor of the Corvesh stepped forward first. His metal skin gleamed under the station's lights. "Welcome, survivors of Earth," he said. His voice sounded like grinding machinery. "I am Thekmor. We are honored to meet fellow conquerors of death." Ambassador Chen smiled politely. "We're honored to be here. This is Dr. Webb, Captain Vasquez, and Engineer Morrison." More aliens gathered around them. Stormjack crackled with electricity as he moved closer. Pyrothane radiated heat that the humans could feel from several feet away. Nexavoid floated in his containment suit, purple gas swirling inside. Veltara's gills fluttered as she breathed through her apparatus. Zekthara clicked and buzzed as she studied the humans with her compound eyes. "Come," said Veltara, her voice gurgling slightly. "The summit begins now. We are eager to hear how you survived your impossible world." The council chamber was enormous, with a round table at the center. Each alien had a special seat designed for their needs. The humans were given simple chairs that looked tiny compared to the alien furniture. "We begin as always," announced Thekmor, "with each species describing their home world. This helps us understand each other's struggles." The Vorthak spoke first. Pyrothane's rocky body glowed as he described his people's world. Our planet has surface temperatures of over 2,000 degrees. The ground is always melting. Volcanic eruptions happen every day. The air burns anything that tries to breathe it. We built our cities deep underground where it is cooler. Even there, the temperature would kill most species instantly. The other aliens nodded respectfully. Living on such a world required incredible strength and adaptation. Stormjack spoke next. Electricity danced across his crystalline form. Our world never stops screaming. Winds blow at 300 miles per hour constantly. Lightning strikes the ground thousands of times every second. The electrical storms are so powerful they can destroy metal instantly. We learned to become living lightning conductors just to survive. Again, the aliens showed respect for such extreme survival. Each species took their turn. The Korvesh described radiation levels that would kill most beings in seconds. The Nethrim spoke of poisonous air that dissolved organic matter. The Kaltar told stories of ocean predators the size of mountains. The Hivetar explained how every organism on their world tried to consume others from the inside out. Finally, all eyes turned to the humans. Ambassador Chen stood up slowly. She had listened to these descriptions with growing amazement. These beings came from worlds that would instantly kill any human. "Thank you for sharing your stories," she began. "Our world, Earth, is quite different from yours." The aliens leaned forward, eager to hear about the legendary Class 12 Deathworld. "Earth has stable temperatures," Chen continued, "usually between -40 and +50 degrees Celsius depending on the season and location." The aliens looked confused. Those were not extreme temperatures by their standards. "Doctor." Webb stood up to help explain. "Our world has abundant water in liquid form covering most of the surface. We have weather patterns that change with the seasons. Sometimes it rains, sometimes it snows, sometimes it's sunny." The confusion on the alien faces grew deeper. This did not sound like a death world at all. "We have diverse ecosystems," Dr. Webb continued. "Forests, deserts, mountains, oceans. Many different plants and animals live in these places." Nexvoid's gas swirled faster in his suit. "But how do you survive the hostile conditions? Where are the daily disasters?" Jake Morrison scratched his head. "Well, we do have earthquakes sometimes, and hurricanes. Tornadoes can be pretty dangerous. Volcanic eruptions happen, but not very often." "Sometimes?" echoed Stormjack. "Not very often. But how do you live with constant threat?" The humans looked at each other uncertainly. Captain Vasquez tried to explain. "Most of the time, our world is pretty safe. We built cities in good locations. We have warning systems for dangerous weather. Most people live their whole lives without seeing anything really dangerous." The alien delegates sat in stunned silence. This could not be right. Their instruments had clearly shown Earth as a Class 12 death world. But these humans were describing what sounded like paradise. Thekmore stood up slowly, his metal body creaking. "Your gravity reading was 1.3 times galactic standard. That should crush most organic beings." Dr. Webb nodded. "Yes, that's normal for us. We evolved in that gravity so it feels natural." "Your atmosphere contains 21% oxygen," added Zekthara, her voice clicking with distress. "That is a highly reactive poison that would kill most life forms. We need oxygen to breathe," explained Morrison. "Without it, we die in a few minutes." "The radiation from your star," continued Veltara, "reaches levels that cause cellular damage. We use sunscreen when we spend long periods outside," said Captain Vasquez. "Or we stay in the shade during the hottest parts of the day." The aliens stared in disbelief. These humans were casually discussing survival methods for conditions that would instantly kill most galactic species. And they talked about it like it was normal, everyday life. "But surely you must struggle constantly against your world's attempts to destroy you?" asked Pyrothane. Ambassador Chen thought for a moment. "Well, we do have to be careful sometimes. Don't swim alone in areas where there might be sharks. Stay inside during bad storms. Don't climb mountains without proper equipment." "Sharks?" whispered Nexvoid. "Large predatory fish," explained Dr. Webb. "They live in our oceans. Most are harmless to humans, But a few species can be dangerous. You have predators in your water? Veltara's gills fluttered rapidly. And you enter the water anyway? Sure, said Morrison. Swimming is fun. Lots of people do it for exercise or recreation. The word recreation hung in the air like a bomb waiting to explode. The aliens slowly began to understand that something was very wrong with their assumptions. These humans had not barely survived their death world. They had made it into a playground. The silence in the council chamber stretched on for long minutes. The alien delegates stared at the humans with growing amazement and confusion. Finally, Thekmore spoke again. Perhaps you could tell us more about how your people live on Earth, he said carefully. We want to understand your survival methods. Captain Vasquez nodded and activated her portable display. Images of Earth appeared in the air above the table. I can show you some of our history and how we explore our world. The first image showed a mountain covered in snow and ice. This is Mount Everest, the highest point on our planet. The air is so thin that humans need breathing equipment to survive. The cold can freeze exposed skin in minutes. Winds can reach over 100 miles per hour. The aliens leaned forward, expecting to hear about tragic disasters or failed attempts to survive. Every year, hundreds of humans climb to the top of this mountain, Vasquez continued. They do it for personal challenge and achievement. We call it mountain climbing, and it's a popular hobby. Stormjack's electrical field flickered with confusion. Hobby? They enter deadly conditions for fun? Yes, said Vasquez. Here's another example. The display showed deep blue water stretching to the horizon. These are our oceans. They contain predators crushing pressure at depth and temperatures that can kill. Humans regularly dive down thousands of feet below the surface. She showed images of humans in diving suits exploring underwater caves and swimming alongside massive sea creatures. They do this to explore, to study marine life, and sometimes just because they enjoy it. We have people who spend their entire lives studying the deep oceans. Veltara's breathing apparatus bubbled frantically. You voluntarily enter crushing depths filled with predators? As a career choice? Dr. Webb stepped forward with his own display. Let me show you some of our research and exploration history. Images flashed across the display showing humans in the most extreme environments on Earth. People walking across frozen wastelands in the polar regions. Scientists working inside active volcanoes. Researchers camping in deserts where the daytime temperature could cook meat. We didn't just learn to survive our world, Dr. Webb explained. We learned to study it, understand it, and explore every part of it. These are some of our research stations. He showed pictures of bases built on ice sheets, underwater laboratories, and facilities built inside caves deep underground. This is our South Pole Research Station. Humans live there year-round, studying ice and weather patterns. Winter temperatures drop to minus 60 degrees Celsius, and the sun disappears for months at a time. Impossible, whispered Nexvoid. No organic being could survive such conditions for extended periods. We use technology to help us, Dr. Webb continued. Heated buildings, special clothing, and communication systems to stay safe. But humans have been exploring polar regions for hundreds of years, even before we had advanced technology. Jake Morrison took over the presentation. His display showed human cities, power plants, and transportation systems. We didn't just adapt to our environment, he explained. We learned to use it. We harness the power of moving water to generate electricity. We use the heat from deep underground to warm our homes. We even learned to split atoms to create enormous amounts of energy. The aliens stared in shock as Morrison showed images of hydroelectric dams, geothermal plants, and nuclear power facilities. You harness the forces of nature? Asked Pyrothane, his rocky body glowing brighter. You make the dangerous energies of your world work for you? Exactly, said Morrison. Lightning was dangerous, so we invented lightning rods to protect our buildings and learned to store electrical energy. Volcanic eruptions were destructive, so we found ways to predict them and use geothermal energy for power. Stormjack crackled with electricity. You turned weapons against you into tools for you? We looked at everything that could hurt us, Morrison continued, and asked how we could make it useful instead. Moving air became wind power. Flowing water became transportation and energy. Even the dangerous radiation from our sun became a source of power through solar panels. Ambassador Chen stood up again. But that's not the most important thing about humanity. The aliens turned to listen, still struggling to understand these impossible beings. The most important thing is that we never stopped exploring, Chen said. Earth wasn't enough for us. Her display showed rockets launching into space, space stations orbiting Earth, and bases on Earth's moon. We built vehicles to leave our planet and explore space. We established permanent bases on our moon, where there's no air to breathe and the temperature swings are even more extreme than Earth. The images continued, showing humans working in spacesuits, conducting experiments in zero gravity, and building massive structures in orbit. This is our Mars colony project, Chen continued. Mars is a dead planet with poisonous air, killing radiation and temperatures that would freeze most life instantly. We're currently changing its atmosphere to make it suitable for human life. Zekthara's clicking grew rapid and distressed. You are terraforming an entire planet? Changing a dead world into a living one? We call it our greatest challenge, said Chen. In a few generations, Mars will have breathable air, liquid water, and comfortable temperatures. Millions of humans will live there. Dr. Webb added more images showing space telescopes, asteroid mining operations, and plans for missions to the outer planets. We have research stations planned near our sun where we'll study solar energy up close. We're designing ships to visit other star systems. We want to explore gas giant planets and harvest resources from their moons. The alien delegates sat in complete silence. Their understanding of survival, strength, and civilization was crumbling around them. Captain Vasquez showed one final set of images. Humans skydiving from aircraft, surfing on massive ocean waves, racing cars at incredible speeds, and bungee jumping from bridges. We have something called extreme sports, she explained. These are activities that humans do purely for excitement and challenge. They deliberately put themselves in dangerous situations because they find it fun and thrilling. Techmore finally found his voice. You seek out danger. For entertainment? Some humans do, Vasquez nodded. They climb the most dangerous mountains, surf the biggest waves, and dive from the highest cliffs. We have entire industries built around adventure tourism, where people pay money to experience controlled danger. The concept was so alien to the council members that several of them began making distressed noises. The hive tar clicked frantically. The Nethram's gas swirled in agitated patterns. The Zelani sparked with nervous electrical discharges. We thought we were survivors, Veltara finally whispered. We thought we were the strongest beings in the galaxy because we endured our harsh worlds. Ambassador Chen smiled gently. You are survivors. You've accomplished amazing things. But humans didn't just survive our world. We made it our playground, then used it as a stepping stone to reach the stars. The truth was becoming clear to all of them. The Deathworld Council had not invited fellow survivors to their meeting. They had invited a species that made Deathworlds look like garden parks. After a long break to process what they had learned, the Alien Council reconvened. The delegates whispered among themselves in their various languages before Thekmore called for order. The council has discussed your presentations, he announced, his metal voice echoing through the chamber. We find your claims difficult to believe. Ambassador Chen raised an eyebrow. You think we're lying? Not lying, said Zekthara, her insect-like body clicking nervously. But perhaps your people have exaggerated their capabilities over time. Stories can grow larger with each telling. Stormjack crackled with electrical energy. We propose the traditional test. Every species that joins our council must prove their worthiness through the survival trials. Dr. Webb leaned forward with interest. What kind of trials? Veltara's gills fluttered as she spoke. 6 challenges, one designed by each of our species. They test survival skills in the most extreme conditions we know. If you truly come from a Class 12 Deathworld, added Nexvoid, his gas swirling faster, then these trials should be simple for you. The humans looked at each other. Captain Vasquez shrugged. We accept. Pyrothane's rocky body glowed brighter. Excellent. We begin immediately. The first trial took place in a massive chamber, deep inside Station Omega. The humans stood at the entrance while Thekmore explained the rules. This is the Corvesh trial, he said. Inside this chamber, gravity is 5 times galactic standard. Radiation levels would kill most beings in minutes. You must reach the far end and retrieve a crystal marker. Through the transparent door, the humans could see a hellish landscape. The floor was twisted metal, and the air shimmered with deadly radiation. Warning lights flashed constantly. How long do we have? Asked Captain Vasquez. Most beings cannot survive more than 10 minutes inside, Thekmore replied. My people need special suits even for that long. Vasquez nodded and checked her equipment. Standard radiation suit should be fine. The gravity will be tough but manageable. She entered the chamber, and the aliens watched in amazement as she moved with steady determination across the hostile environment. Where other species would have crawled or struggled to move, Vasquez walked with the confident pace of someone on a military exercise. 8 minutes later, she emerged with the crystal marker. "Not bad," she said. "Reminded me of training exercises in Earth's high radiation zones." The second trial was Stormjack's electrical storm chamber. Lightning bolts crashed constantly while hurricane-force winds howled. The humans had to navigate through the chaos while maintaining their balance. Jake Morrison volunteered for this one. He studied the electrical patterns for a moment, then calmly walked through the storm. When lightning struck near him, he simply adjusted his path and kept moving. "The trick is understanding the electrical fields," he explained when he finished. "We have similar storms on Earth. You just need to know where lightning is likely to strike." The third trial was Pyrothane's heat chamber, where temperatures reached levels that would melt most metals. Dr. Webb entered wearing a specially designed cooling suit. "This is similar to conditions near Earth's volcanic vents," he said as he worked through the trial. "We have researchers who work in environments like this regularly." Not only did he complete the trial, but he also collected samples of the exotic materials inside the chamber. "These mineral formations are fascinating," he noted. "We could learn a lot from studying them." The fourth trial belonged to Nexvoid. Participants had to solve complex puzzles while surrounded by toxic gases that attacked both the mind and body. Ambassador Chen took this challenge. She worked through the poisonous environment with calm focus, solving each puzzle methodically. The toxic gases that should have confused her thinking seemed to have no effect at all. "We have similar chemical hazards in some of Earth's industrial areas," she explained afterward. "Proper protective equipment and mental discipline make it manageable." The fifth trial was Zekthara's parasitic challenge. Microscopic organisms attacked the participants' equipment and tried to infiltrate their protective suits. Jake Morrison volunteered for this one too, as the invisible parasites swarmed around him. Morrison not only completed the trial but actually began analyzing their behavior patterns. "These are incredible organisms," he said excitedly. "They're like Earth's viruses but much more sophisticated. If we could study them safely, they might have medical applications." The final trial was Veltara's underwater predator arena. Participants had to navigate through a flooded chamber while massive artificial predators hunted them. Captain Vasquez took this challenge. The aliens expected her to hide, run, or barely escape the simulated sea monsters. Instead, Vasquez studied their attack patterns and began developing countermeasures. "These move like Earth's great white sharks," she observed while dodging a creature the size of a subway train. "But they're actually less aggressive than real sharks during feeding time." When she finished the trial, she had not only survived but mapped the predators' behavioral patterns and identified several weaknesses in their design. The Alien Council sat in stunned silence as the humans regrouped after completing all 6 trials. Not one of them had struggled. Not one had barely survived. They had all performed with the casual competence of people dealing with minor inconveniences. "Impossible," whispered Nexavoid.
"Those trials have tested thousands of beings over centuries."
"Most species cannot complete even one trial." "You completed all 6, added Stormjack, electricity sparking erratically across his crystalline form. "And you made them look easy." Dr. Webb was still excited about the samples he had collected. "These trials are amazing scientific opportunities. The diversity of extreme environments you've created here could teach us so much about adaptation and survival." Jake Morrison was busy taking notes. "I've got ideas for improving the efficiency of several of these trial systems. The parasitic chamber could be modified to study beneficial organisms instead of just hostile ones." Captain Vasquez was reviewing tactical data. "Good training exercises. They test different skills than what we usually practice, but the principles are the same." Ambassador Chen looked around at the shocked alien faces. "Was there something else you wanted us to do?" Thekmore stood up slowly, his metal body creaking. "In all our history, no species has ever completed the trials without losing at least one member. Most species lose half their participants. We designed these trials to be the ultimate test of survival capability," added Zekthara, clicking frantically. "They represent the most extreme conditions any of us have ever faced." Pyrothane's body dimmed as he spoke quietly. "We spent millennia learning to survive conditions like those trials. We considered ourselves the ultimate survivors in the galaxy. But you made our greatest challenges look like children's games, finished Velterra. Her voice gurgling with distress. The humans looked at each other with growing understanding. Ambassador Chen spoke carefully. You've all accomplished incredible things. Surviving and building civilizations on worlds that hostile takes amazing courage and skill. We're not trying to diminish what you've achieved. Then how? Asked Stormjack. How did you make it look so easy? Captain Vasquez considered the question seriously. I think it's because Earth taught us to expect the unexpected. Our world throws so many different challenges at us that we learn to adapt quickly to new situations. Dr. Webb nodded. Every extreme environment on Earth has taught us something different. When we encountered your trials, we could apply lessons we'd learned from similar situations back home. Plus, added Morrison, we've had thousands of years to develop technology and techniques for surviving in hostile conditions. Every challenge just becomes another engineering problem to solve. Ambassador Chen looked around the room at the alien delegates. But more importantly, we learned not to just endure hostile environments. We learned to understand them, work with them, and eventually master them. The council members realized that their entire understanding of survival and strength was about to change forever. The Deathworld Council called an emergency session after the humans completed the trials. The alien delegates gathered in a private chamber while the humans waited outside. For 3 hours they debated in heated whispers. When the council reconvened in the main chamber, the atmosphere had changed completely. The aliens looked at the humans with a mixture of awe, confusion, and something approaching fear. Thekmor stood first, his metal body reflecting the chamber's lights. The council has reached a decision, he announced formally. We have never encountered a species like yours. Ambassador Chen straightened in her chair. We hope that's a good thing. Zekthara clicked nervously before speaking. For thousands of years, we believed we were the galaxy's ultimate survivors. We built this council to celebrate endurance, the ability to withstand impossible conditions and continue existing. We measured strength by how much suffering a species could endure, added Stormjack, electricity crackling across his crystalline form. How long they could survive before breaking. Veltara's gills fluttered rapidly. But you have shown us something we never imagined possible. You didn't just survive your death world. You conquered it completely. Pyrothane's rocky body glowed as he spoke. We spent millions of years learning to endure our worlds. You learned to master yours. Nexavoid's gas swirled faster in his containment suit. We are survivors. But you are something else entirely. The humans exchanged glances. Dr. Webb leaned forward. What exactly are you saying? We're saying that everything we thought we knew about survival is wrong, said Thekmor. You have redefined what it means to be strong. Ambassador Chen stood up slowly. I think there might be a misunderstanding here. We're not conquerors or masters. We're not trying to dominate anyone or anything. She activated her display again, showing images of Earth's cities, farms, and natural preserves. We didn't conquer Earth by destroying it. We learned to work with it. We studied our world until we understood how to live in harmony with its natural forces. Harmony? Whispered Veltara. With a Class 12 death world? Earth isn't our enemy, explained Dr. Webb. It's our home. Every challenge it presented taught us something valuable. Every extreme environment showed us new possibilities. Jake Morrison nodded enthusiastically. The dangerous storms taught us about energy and weather patterns. The deep oceans showed us new forms of life and pressure dynamics. The high mountains taught us about thin atmospheres and extreme cold. Instead of just trying to survive these conditions, added Captain Vasquez, we studied them, learned from them, and found ways to use that knowledge to improve our lives. Ambassador Chen looked around the room at each alien delegate. You've all accomplished incredible things by surviving impossible worlds. But what if survival was just the first step? What do you mean? Asked Stormjack. What if instead of just enduring your worlds, you could transform them? Chen continued. What if those extreme conditions could become advantages instead of obstacles? The aliens stared at her in confusion. The concept seemed impossible to them. Dr. Webb stood up and began explaining. Your volcanic world, Pyrothane. Those extreme temperatures are an incredible energy source. The mineral formations in that kind of heat could create material stronger than anything in the galaxy. Pyrothane's body flickered with interest. You think our world's fire could be useful? Absolutely. And Stormjack? Your electrical storms represent more energy than most civilizations use in a century. If that power could be captured and stored, your people could become the galaxy's energy suppliers. Stormjack's electrical field pulsed brighter. Turn our world's attacks into tools? Morrison jumped in excitedly. Thecamore, the radiation on your world could power advanced technology we haven't even invented yet. And the pressure on Veltara's ocean world could create industrial processes impossible anywhere else. Even the parasitic organisms on Zekthara's world, added Dr. Webb, I could be studied and modified for medical purposes. Imagine using their adaptation abilities to help cure diseases. And next void, said Chen, the toxic atmosphere of your world might contain rare chemical compounds that could revolutionize manufacturing. The aliens sat in stunned silence, as the humans described possibilities they had never imagined. But how? Asked Veltara finally. How do you turn deadly conditions into useful tools? The same way we did it on Earth, replied Morrison. Study them, understand them, and then engineer solutions. It takes time, patience, and cooperation. But it's absolutely possible. Ambassador Chen stepped forward with a proposal that would change everything. Instead of a council of Deathworld survivors, she said, what if we created an alliance of world builders? Instead of just celebrating endurance, we could work together to transform hostile worlds into thriving colonies. She activated her display one more time, showing images of human terraforming projects, space habitats, and research stations. Earth taught us that no environment is truly hostile if you understand it well enough. Every challenge is just an opportunity waiting. For the right solution, we could share our terraforming technology, offered Dr. Webb. Help you modify your worlds to be more comfortable while keeping their unique advantages. We could help design new cities, added Morrison, that work with your world's natural forces instead of fighting against them. We could train joint exploration teams, said Captain Vasquez, to find and develop new worlds that combine the best features of all our environments. The alien delegates looked at each other with growing excitement. For the first time in their species' histories, they were thinking about their harsh worlds not as prisons to escape, but as resources to develop. Thecamore was the first to speak. You would share this knowledge with us? Help us transform our worlds? Of course, said Ambassador Chen. That's what allies do. We help each other achieve things none of us could accomplish alone. But what would you gain? Asked Zekthara suspiciously. What do you want in return? Chen smiled. The chance to learn from you. Each of your worlds has developed unique solutions to extreme conditions. That knowledge could help us build better space habitats, explore more dangerous environments, and understand physics and chemistry in ways we never imagined. Dr. Webb nodded eagerly. The scientific discoveries we could make together would advance all our civilizations by thousands of years. Plus, added Morrison, working together means we can tackle bigger projects. Terraforming gas giants, building space habitats around stars, creating generation ships for exploring other galaxies. The vote was unanimous. The Deathworld Council dissolved itself that day and was reborn as the Alliance of World Builders. 6 months later, human engineers worked alongside Corvesh metallurgists in radiation-shielded cities that gleamed like jewels on the volcanic surface of their world. Kaltar scientists and human marine biologists developed underwater agriculture that fed entire populations while massive sea creatures swam peacefully overhead. Stormjack's people learned to capture and store the energy from their endless electrical storms. Their world became the galaxy's primary power source, selling clean energy to hundreds of civilizations. Next Void's toxic atmosphere was filtered and processed to create revolutionary materials that made space travel faster and safer. Zekthar's parasitic organisms were modified to create medical treatments that could cure previously incurable diseases. Pyrothane's volcanic world became the galaxy's premier manufacturing center, forging materials in extreme heat that could withstand any condition in known space. And throughout the galaxy, the most dangerous worlds were no longer seen as death traps to avoid. They became opportunities to build, grow, and thrive. The humans had taught the galaxy that there was no such thing as a truly hostile environment. There were only challenges waiting for the right perspective and the courage to see possibilities instead of obstacles. As Ambassador Chen stood on the observation deck of the new Alliance headquarters, Watching ships travel between worlds that had once been considered uninhabitable, she smiled. Humanity had found its place in the galaxy not as conquerors or destroyers, but as teachers and builders, and the galaxy would never be the same.